Good morning. Welcome to the month of love. Perhaps it's best we first focus this month on loving our lives and the power of love in us. So I want to ask you a question. Do you love your life? I mean, really love it. Do you wake up in the morning and you're so excited just to see what the day will bring? Well, you are meant to. In fact, a life that you love to live is your divine birthright. Realizing that as we individually love our lives, we affect the collective well-being of all humanity. Realizing that as we live more fulfilled, joyous, complete lives, we up-level the vibration of all humankind. And this month we'll focus on how we can love our lives more, experience loving them on a day-to-day, hour by hour, indeed a minute by minute basis. Consciousness is contagious. It's like a virus. And I found that positivity as well as negativity are catching. We want to be more aware of our personal energy and the radiance we emit. Heart math says that we project our heart power. 15 foot is all they can measure now, but it can be much farther, as we know with distance healing. And you've all gone into a room and picked up that somebody there was really arguing. You can feel that. And perhaps you've come up to somebody and you were just in the most joyful, happy mood. And as you come up to them, you notice their eyes light up, they relax a little more. So you've affected them in a good way. Once in a while, I've been driving through the neighborhood and just in one of those ecstatic almost moods, like, should I be driving? But, and there'll be a pedestrian over there and they'll just like magnetize, like look right at me. So I know I've been emitting good energy on those days. And we really shouldn't even get out of bed if we're not in a decent mood. I like to stay in bed and maybe say, everything good is coming to me, or all is well in my being and world. And then when I believe the truth, I'll get up. And Eric Butterworth even suggests when you make your bed, after you've had your coffee, as you're smoothing out the sheets and organizing everything nicely, kind of do that within yourself, like do a scan. So then we're ready to greet the world and go out the door. And heart math, during 9/11 and also when Princess Diana died, they are able to measure the atmosphere. And there was a lot of discordant energy there. It was recorded. And I imagine perhaps today that's pretty much the case with all that's happened on the planet. And this is why I invite you to learn your own practice. The Light Center there has a beautiful prayer, but just bringing your own light forth and surrounding yourself and calling in the great I am, that light. And it's not like we're keeping out something evil. It's just there's a lot of negative crap in the airwaves. So this month we're focusing on loving our lives so that life on this planet becomes more loving. And here's the crux of the whole thing. You have the power to do this. And here's the second crux. No one has the power to take it away from you. No one can take away the deep peace of your soul, yet we give it away all the time by attaching to experiences, by believing that our thoughts and our emotions are what we are, but we're not. And you know that we're the awareness of them. I can't say, I am feeling sad if there isn't an I noticing that feeling. So if we can be more of a witness in life, stand back a little more, don't jump in with both feet, love life, but it can get us carried away. So the power for happiness, for good, for everything we need in life is within each of us. The power is there, and it's unlimited power. And we basically need to remind ourselves to open that door. Love can't come in and out if our hearts are not open. So this month, we are embarking on a month of loving life, and how we can do that to receive its love simultaneously. Not long before he made his transition, Ernest Holmes said, oh no, somebody asked him, if you had it all to do it over again, writing the Science of Mind textbook, which is like that thick, the faith, the philosophy, would you change anything? And his answer likely surprised the questioner, because he said, yes, I would have. I would have focused less on the law and more on love. And I don't know if he elaborated on that, but here's my take on why he would have said that. This thing we call the law, on which he did focus a great deal of his teachings, and all of our new thought mothers and fathers do, and we do, it's an automatic process. It's simply how God creates and how we, as God's expression here on earth, create. God's thoughts creates worlds and peoples it with living things. Our thoughts, or our consciousness, and that includes thoughts, feelings, beliefs, attitudes, values, action, and words, that is pretty encompassing for our consciousness. It creates our world and peoples it with our experiences. And Ernest Holmes also said, when the consciousness speaks, the law receives and executes. Just like Sarah was mentioning with the cause and effect. When a farmer plants a seed, he invokes the law. That which follows is done by the mechanical side of nature, which has no volition of its own. Ignorance of the law excuses no one from its effects. That's why we really concentrate on learning the laws in one spirit. Charles Fillmore writes, there are no accidents in the laws of being. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap, is another way of saying that for every cause there is an adequate effect. This law of sequence is the balance wheel of the universe. And what happens when we learn and understand these laws of being? Charles Fillmore also says in Talks on Truth, Jesus demonstrated the law of God, and his word was with power. He became the word of God incarnate because he fulfilled all the requirements of the law. This fulfillment is the privilege of every man and woman and you and me. Whoever dedicates his whole life to the supreme good, and by devotion, right thinking, right doing, right acting, pure living, and pure speaking, fulfills the law. And they may have all the power of Jesus. God is no respecter of persons, but he requires an exact observance of the law. So the law is a given. It is the way creation occurs. Just like gravity, it's always at work and there's not a darn thing we can do to change it. But how we use the law is the biggest question we who know about and understand the law can ever ask. Are we activating the law through love? Are we letting love be the guiding force in our lives? Are we planting seeds of love into the soil of the law? Because it's only as we do that that we will be truly fulfilled, find our place in this earthly experience, and find our deep and abiding connection with the God of our being. That's why I think Holmes said he would have focused more on love. And he defines that as a cosmic force whose sweet is irresistible. And I want to get in front of that tidal wave. We're actually in it. So Charles Fillmore wrote in Talks on Truth, many who have found the law of true thinking and its effect wonder why supply does not come to them after months and years of holding thoughts of bounty. It is because they have not developed love. They have formed the right image in mind, but the magnet that draws the substance from the storehouse of being has not been set into action. That's why so many people read The Secret and nothing changed much, because they were not focused on love. So love is the key in manifestation. And why? Why do I say that? We must align with God, whose nature is love, with our own frequency of love, to work with or create from the invisible manna, the existence coming into being. We have to line up with our hearts. So Holmes said often in his book, Love Points the Way, and law makes the way possible. And today we're saying, let love point the way. Our mission is to let love point the way. And that's by leading with our hearts. So a Sanskrit word for a Hindu practice which Gandhi engaged is Ahimsa. Ahimsa. And it means abstaining from causing harm or injury, but more than non-injury, it's living from a cosmic love. It's the development of a mental attitude in which all forms of hurt or harm are replaced by love. Ahimsa is universal love. It is pure love. An Ahimsa website offers some thoughts on what the power of Ahimsa can do. In the presence of one who practices Ahimsa, enmity ceases. In his presence, cobra and frog, cow and tiger, cat and rat, wolf and lamb will all live together in terms of intimate friendship. In his presence, all hostilities are given up. The term hostilities are given up means that all beings, men animals, birds, and poisonous creatures will approach the practitioner without fear and do no harm to him. Their hostile nature disappears in them, in his presence. We're reminded of St. Francis by this type of a being. And I've also heard of someone going right into the middle of LA where two gangs are getting ready to fight, and this person must have Ahimsa because he stands there and somehow he put a stop to the whole thing by his presence of love. So there's two kinds of love we can practice. Reactive love and proactive love. So reactive love means whatever you confront, whatever you face it with love. And I actually had an experience, a dream. I was staying in a cabin alone, and after I'd gone to sleep, in my dream, suddenly this huge, black, ominous, hateful entity was in front of me. In fact, it filled the entire horizon in all directions. It was just like a big wall of blackness, of hate. And I'm standing there in front of it. And I was so afraid. Of course, I woke myself up, stayed awake a while because I didn't want to go back to sleep. And then as I was dozing, my guides came and said, you have to go back in there. And you have to throw all the love you have at that entity, or it will kill you. And I'm going like, is there any negotiation here? But I did go back in the dream. And of course it was there. And you know me, I tried reasoning like, you would feel so much better if you had kindness and, more people, anyways, it wasn't buying it. So I just went within, gathered all of my power in my center, and I just, boom, threw all the love I could at it. Nothing else in there but love, no fear. And it disappeared. So I think I was to learn the message of how powerful love is. And Jesus teaches us about reactive love. He says, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you. Pray for the happiness of those who curse you. Implore God's blessing on those who hurt you. Do you think you deserve credit for merely loving those who love you? Even the godless do that. And if you do good only to those who do you good, is that so wonderful? Even sinners do that much. But love your enemies and do good to them, so your reward will increase and you will become sons and daughters of the highest. Gautama Buddha also had an experience where this guy came up to him and he was sitting addressing his followers, and this man came up and started just unleashing obscenities at him, so much hatred and venom, and just pouring it out at the Buddha. But he remained silent and softly smiled at the man, which of course we know from having children made the man even more vicious. We don't like someone to smile at us in that case. But finally the attacker stopped and asked the Buddha, Why was he unmoved by what was being said to him? And the Buddha replied with a question. If you are offered a gift and refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong? I suppose it still belongs to the giver, the man replied. Well, responded the Buddha, I have declined your gift. The Buddha refused to receive the hatred that the man was trying to give him. He refused to make it his own. He did only one thing, stood there smiling and sending the man love and peace. And the man fell at his feet and wept. It's good to say sometimes, I bless those who hate me. Hopefully no one hates you, but there are people that don't like you. And loving kindness meditation is very good to do once or twice a week. You can Google that if you don't know it, but you're sending love to people you know and like, people you don't know, people that you don't like at all. The worst person that you might not like in the whole planet, you send them love. Now, about proactive love. If you knew you only had a few days left to live, who would you call? What would you say? And what are you waiting for? If there's someone you need to forgive or feel they owe you an apology, send them love. Even if they're not on this earth plane, put a chair in front of you, put them there and have a discussion together and forgive each other. It works. So Holmes once wrote, love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. As light overcomes the darkness, as the presence of a nice heater causes with its radiant action for the whole room to get warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. Love is the victor in every case. Love breaks down the iron bars of thought, shatters the walls of material belief, severs the chain of bondage which thought has imposed, and sets the captive free. So, in conclusion, love is what we are born with, to experience. Love is the meaning of our life. Think of a world of love, and we can create it. There would be no war, no hunger, no environmental breakdown, no oppression or depression, no violence or prejudice. People would be working together in cooperation and peace. If we let it, love can point the way to this world. And this is a world I want to live in. This is a life I would love to live every day, every hour, every minute. And we have the power to create it. So if you would, close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. I'm going to say a mantra 3 times, and you can repeat each section after me. Divine love is doing its perfect work in me and through me in this now moment. Divine love is doing its perfect work in me and through me in this now moment. Divine love is doing its perfect work in me and through me in this now moment. You may open your eyes. So, my friends, today choose love in every situation. Today see love where you haven't seen it before. Today reveal love. Today allow your life to be filled with love. Today let love point the way to the life you love to live. And then today may become the day written about by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, a 19th century French monk and mystic. The day will come when, after harnessing space, the winds, the tides, and gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, we shall have discovered fire. So please close your eyes and let us pray. Envision the planet, our precious earth, enfolded in a blue mantle of peace. I pray for and with everyone and everything. I pray for the unity of all things. I need not beg for certain scenarios to occur, or situations and circumstances to be as I think they should be. I hold everything in the light. I hold everything in the light. And I send blessings far and wide. I connect with the source of my strength, and I pour my love into all that is. I am a radiant being of pure love. I am the love of God on earth. I am thankful. I get to bless all life with my loving presence and love my life more and more every day. Amen. Aho. And know with me the truth of this teaching by saying, and so it is.